Hi Deuterinos, it's time to take a look at our spiral review. First up, we'll look at solving a linear equation. In this one we have a whole bunch of stuff going on, so the first thing I might do is try to combine some like terms and maybe start by doing some distribution. I got 3 times 2x is 6x, 3 times negative 5 is minus 15. I'm going to rewrite everything else. And 12x minus 4. Alright, now we've got a whole bunch of x's. I don't like that they're on different sides, so I might try to subtract from one side to bring them to the other one. So at this time I might subtract a 5x and a 6x from the left, and subtract 5x and a 6x from the right. So I've got negative 15, that goes to 0, that goes to 0. And on the right side I've got 12 minus 5 is 7, minus 6 more is 1x. Hey, that's good news. Minus 4. Add 4 to both sides. I get negative 11 is equal to 1x, and bada bing, we are done. Now on to inequalities. Alright, first off we've got negative x's on both sides. I'm going to try to get rid of one. I tend to like getting rid of the most negative x. That's going to be negative 8x, so I'm going to add that to both sides. And I'm left with negative 4 plus 8 is 4x, plus 7 is less than negative 10. Okay, let's get that x by itself. Minus 7 to both sides. 4x is less than negative 17. Divide both sides by 4. And we've got x is less than negative 17 over 4. Finally, we got to make a number line for this to graph. All right. Negative 17 over 4, I'm going to make show up on my number line. It's going to be an open circle because we are working with just a less than, not a less than or equal to. And if x is less than this number, I'm going to go to the left. And I'm done. Here I'm trying to find the slope between 2 points. To go from negative 9.37 to negative 7.52. Got negative 1.85. And for the x's, to go from 6.25 to 4, it's 2.25. If I divide them, I get negative 0.822. I got one of our famous k problems. First I'm going to set up my slope. Negative 5 minus negative 2. For k minus 5 is equal to 1 over 3. Negative 5 minus negative 2 is going to be negative 3. K minus 5, and that's equal to 1/3. I've got a couple different options here. I'll talk about 2 of them. The first is I can try to make this fraction look like this one. And to make 1 look like negative 3, I could multiply the top by negative 3. Then if I multiply the bottom by negative 3, I get negative 3 over negative 9. Now my 2 numerators are equal, negative 3 and negative 3. That means my 2 denominators must also be equal. So k minus 5 is equal to negative 9. K is equal to negative 4. Alternatively, if I start from the same point, I'm going to slide over a little bit, where I've got negative 3 over k minus 5 is equal to 1/3. I can multiply by both denominators to get rid of them. So times k minus 5 and times k minus 5. On the left that cancels out, so I get negative 3, and that's equal to 1/3 times k minus 5. I can then multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of this denominator. I get negative 9. 3 and the 1/3 cancel out, equals k minus 5. I get k equals negative 4. For number 5, I'm being asked to find the slope. Okay, I'm going from negative 10 to 12, which is plus 22. from 5 to negative 3, which is minus 8. And then I'm asked to find a equation in slope-intercept form. So now that's y equals, and then we've got negative 22 over 8, x plus b. I need to find out what b is, and to do that, I can plug in one of these points. Maybe that guy. No reason in particular. So 12 is y. Negative 22 over 8 times negative 3 plus b, and now I'm going to solve for b. Adding this stuff, which is really negative 22 times negative 3, 66 over 8. And I'm going to subtract that from the other side. So 12 minus 66 over 8. 12 is 96 over 8. So I get 30 over 8 is my b. Okay. So y equals negative 22 over 8 x plus 30 over 8. Number 6, I'm asked to write an equation through these points. I need a point and a slope in order to do this. From 9 to negative 12 is negative 21. And from from negative 5 to 4 is positive 9. I can reduce that and get negative 7 over 3. Using either one of these points for my point-slope form, I can go, I don't know, so let's go y minus negative 12 is equal to negative 7 over 3, x minus 4. Alternatively, I could do y minus 9 is equal to negative 7 over 3, x minus negative 5. Sketch a graph of the line below, and note all important features. First of all, I know this is point slope. That means that I've got a slope of 2 and a point using the opposites of those two, which is 4, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. There's my point. And the slope of 2 means I'm going up 1 over 1 over, up 2 over 1. Whew! Been a long day. That's 5, 5. If I go back 1 down 2, that's going to end up being 3, 1. And I'm going right kind of like this. My y-intercept, my x-intercept, whew, it's been a really, really long day, is going to be somewhere between 3 and 4. In fact, if I get to my next point, which is 2, negative 1 by tracing backwards, I might notice this is really 3.5, 0, halfway between those two places. Okay, I can trace back again, get 1, negative 3, and then a final time to get 0, negative 5, and I get my y-intercept. So I've got my y-intercept, my x-intercept, and my points that I used. Here we're given a line in standard form. That means the best bet for me is going to be plugging in some zeros for x and for y. If I plug in a 0 for x, I've got 0 minus 3y is equal to 9. Y is negative 3. That means we're using the point 0, negative 3. If I plug in 0 for y, I get 6x is equal to 9, which means that x equals 3 halves, or 1.5. So there's that. My line between them goes like that. Here is to graph a piecewise function. First thing I might do is notice that my graph's going to change at 2. All right. I do this dotted line just so I know where to change my graph. And then I need 3x minus 2. I'm going to do that in red for now. It's going to have a y-intercept of negative 2 and a slope of 3. look something like this. And because we're at x is less than 2, we really only care about the part on the less than side of this line. Nice and bold, so it looks really pretty. All right, the next one is x minus 4. I'm going to do this one in blue. Y-intercept of 4 and a slope of 1. All right, and I'm going to do this in a nice big part, so I'm going to look where x is greater than or equal to 2. That's going this way. And now I fill in my circles. The left half has an open circle, and the right half has a closed circle. All right. If I wanted to be really good, then I could erase the lines that aren't supposed to be there like this. And you're left with just those pieces. Finally, we have a piecewise function. And here I'm just going to make a table. By piecewise, I mean absolute value. And the points I really care about are going to be focused around what makes the inside equal to 0. So in this case, we're going to start in -3. If I plug in -3, 2 times 0, 0 minus 1 is -1. Okay, there's my vertex, -3, -1. Then if I go up 1 to -2, -2 plus 3 is +1. Absolute value of +1 is +1. 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1. That gets me my left half of the equation. And then the right half, I can go backwards 1 to -4. -4 plus 3 is -1. Absolute value makes it +1. 2 times +1 is 2, minus 1 is 1. That gets my left half of the graph. The next points up are going to be 2 more up, which is 3, and 2 more up, which is 3, to make my V.